going to say about static routing. In the static routing, there are three networks. If you have any doubt in these three networks, it is similar to the thing which I have did earlier in the switch and router configuration, so you can refer that too. So now in this network 2, I am selecting 4 PCs, and for the network 3 also I am selecting 4 PC as I have given in the message box. So I'm going to select 2960 switch console for each network, that is network 2 and network 3. Network 1 consists of routers, so I'm choosing 2901 router. Now the first thing I have to do is we have to, as usual, you have to give the IP configuration. So for the network 2 first PC I'm giving it as 192.168.10.2. 10.1 will be the default gateway as usual. So now I am changing the into 2.2 and I am placing the default gateway as 0.1. Similarly for the next PC it is 192.168.10.3 and the default gateway will be 10.1. So let's give it for the next computer also, 192.168.10.4 and gateway will be 10.1. Similarly for the fourth PC it is 192.168.10.5 and the gateway will be 10.1. Now for the network 3 first PC it will be 192.168.100.2. 100.1 will be the default gateway. I am just copying it and let's change it into 100.2 as the IP address. Similarly for the next PC it is 192.168.100.3 and the gateway will be 100.1. by just clicking on the subnet mask we will be getting the subnet mask. For the next PC 192.168.100.4 the gateway will be 100.1 and for the last PC it is 100.5 and the gateway will be as usual 100.1. So now let's connect this up. I'm using copper straight through. I will be using copper straight through for connecting all the PCs. I'm using fast Ethernet port. So for connection between computers and switch I'm using the copper straight through. Similarly for the network 3 also we have to do. I have just rearranged the screen such that it would be easy for us for giving connections. Yeah, now the last connection is over. Now for connecting the router and the switch I am using the copper straight through again, but using the gigabit port I am connecting them both. Now for the interconnection between two routers, as I have said in my previous video, we have to give the HWIC2T into the router. So we are first switching it off, placing HWIC2T and then switching it on such that the serial port would be activated. Similarly for the other port also, router also, switch it off, place this HWIC2T and then switch it on. Now our serial port would be enabled. Now using the serial DTE we could connect the two routers in serial port, that is serial 0/0/0 to serial 0/0/0. So now the connections are over, but still we have not yet completed the switch and router configuration first. So for switch and router configuration, you can refer my previous video. Otherwise, you can have written a short write-up. I will be opening it. So in it is given that you have to be very conscious on selecting the right port parameters, like the correct gigabit port and serial port. In serial, use the IP address of the selected router, and in gigabit port, use the default gateway address to the network nearest network. And most importantly, don't forget to turn on the port after configuring. So let's do it for the first network, that is network 1 and network 2. So for the router 0, it is gigabit 0/0. So I am selecting 0/0 and I am giving the IP address of network 2, that is default gateway address, that is 10.1 192.168.10.1. I'm switching it on. Similarly, next I have to select the serial 0/0/0 and I have to give the router IP address, that is 10.10.10.10, and you have to switch it on. Switching it on is very important. You can just close it. Now similarly for the next router, so in this router also it is very clear that we have to select the gigabit 0/0. You have to go into config for selecting them and give the IP address of the network 3, that is default gateway address, that is 192.168.100.1. Turn it on. Then in serial 10.11.11.11 and just turn it on. It's over. We have given the connections, everything perfectly, and you can see all the terminals have turned green, which means that we have given the connections properly, and also the switch and router configuration is over. So now the remaining thing which we have is the static routing, that is our topic. So for static routing, what you have to do is, it's very easy. I just adjust it once again. So click on the router 0, go into the config. So inside the config, you will be finding an option called as static. So this is static and it will be inside the config. It will be asking three major things, that is network, mask and next hop. The network is nothing but we have to define the network address which it has to be contacted with, and mask is nothing but a subnet mask of the network. The next hop, in which we have to give the address of the nearest next router, that is the IP address of the next router. So now let's give the desired thing. For the router 0, the thing which it has to get contacted with is the network 3, that is we have to give the default gateway of the network 3, that is 100.0, and the mask will be 255.255.255.0. The next hop is 10.11.11.11, which is the next router's IP configuration, IP address. I have to add it, check whether it is add, then close it. Similarly for the router 1, inside the config, select static, and the network which it has to contacted with is network 2. So the default address will be 192.168.10.0, and the mask will be same 255.255.255.0, and the next hop will be the nearest router address, that is 10.10.10.10. After add it, check whether it is added, then close it. So hence we have successfully completed the uh, switch and router configuration. We have given all the connections, and we have also did this static routing. Now the last and final step is, let's send packets between these computers to check whether it is contacting or not. So we can see I have sent the packet from 5 to 4. It is successful. So 7 to router 1, it is again successful. Similarly, router 1 to router 2, it is again successful. Now for this side, now router 0 to router PC 1, it is successful. Now PC 5 to PC 3, it is successful again, and PC 0 to PC 7, it's successful again. So hence we have completed the static routing. If you like the video, please give a big fat thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel Techie Wizard. I will be giving the link for the previous video, that is switch and router configuration, in which I have detailedly explained the network 1, network 2 and network 3. You could refer it if you have any doubt. If you have any suggestions and any doubts, please drop down in the comment section below. Thank you.